Good evening and welcome to the November 14th meeting of the Beavercreek Parks Recreation and Culture Board. I hereby call this meeting to order, and we will begin with a roll call, please.
Mrs. Fulcher.
Here.
Mr. Schmidt.
Here.
Mr. Corbett.
Here.
Mrs. Meyer and Mrs. Heaton are not with us this evening.
Thank you, Jackie. Let's see, board members, you have in front of you the agenda for this evening's meeting. If you are okay with that, I'll accept a motion. We're not speaking very well tonight. Maybe we should start over. No, I'm just kidding. I will accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Then the agenda is approved. I don't think the three of us, we need to vote at that point, right? And then you also have the minutes from our October meeting, October 10th. And again, if you don't see any changes, I'll accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. And then that passes. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's get on to the staff report. And Ms. Farrell giving the report tonight.
Good. Yes, I am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Excuse me. So in November, so I guess as a whole, our budget season starts kind of that August timeframe when we start gathering data. I know Zach gave a riveting presentation last month on our budget process. So as part of that, we also talk about our accomplishments for the previous year and what we want to do for the next year. So a few years ago, council went through and they have 5 overarching strategic priorities. Excuse me. Goal 1 is diversifying and creating sustainable revenue sources. 2, engaging and informing the community. 3, planning for infrastructure. 4, right-sized workforce. And 5 is family-friendly parks. So that is council's strategic priorities. And so all the departments take a look at those, and we may not fall under each one of those goals, but we take, like, I believe, the diversifying and creating sustainable revenue, and then also, obviously, family-friendly parks. So that's part of, like, part 1 of our goal process. And then in 2019, while we did our master plan process, we came up with 4 overarching goals. And again, those goals do not change from year to year. Same with the strategic priorities. So our goal 1 is quality parks and recreation facilities. 2 is improved connectivity. 3, attractive programs and quality experiences. And 4 is effective management and efficient operations. So as we look at all of those, we come up with objectives on how we're going to reach those goals every single year. And that's what I would like to share with you tonight and as we start planning out our 2024. So as we look at family-friendly parks, the first one is the quality parks and recreation facilities. I will not read the entire first sentence. You can certainly do that on your own as you wish. But under that is make ADA improvements at park and recreation facilities in accordance with our transition plan. If you recall, back in 2020, we finalized an ADA transition plan throughout all of our facilities, all 23 parks, Senior Center, CI Beaver, Beavercreek Station, and some of our facilities. And so each year, little by little, we're making our way through, and that is like an 11-year plan. So it's nothing that is quick. So that will come up every single year until we get to 11 years. And then we also want to replace the playground at Walnut Grove Park. That was installed in 2003. So again, as we look at our playgrounds, generally playground life expectancy is about 20 years, but we also have a staff member who is a certified playground safety inspector. So we say, hey, listen, Joel, here's the next ones that need to be replaced. He does all of his stuff, and then he helps make a recommendation of what one is coming up next for replacement. Goal 2, improved connectivity. So next year we are going to replace the pedestrian bridge at Stafford Park. And this is the one, it's not right by the playground, but it's just down a little ways. It is in dire need of repair, so we'll be able to knock that out in probably February-ish. And then install a paved perimeter walking path at Vergalito. A few years ago, we did put in a walking path all the way around the playground, the park, and we just used kind of like that crushed stone. But there's areas that we didn't realize sits wet all the time and it just doesn't have great drainage. So we are going to asphalt that and look into better drainage so it can be used all the time. And then there's also a connector from Cold Springs Drive. And so right now, again, I think it's just like a grass path or some dirt. And so we'll actually make that a better connectivity so people from the neighborhood can walk in to the park. Yes.
Sorry, I did interrupt you there. I remember we did the party in the park there before we did these things, and that's something specifically that the community asked for that night, so.
Yep, that's correct. And I appreciate you bringing that up because that is one of the things that we do like to do as we do events. When we're doing our party in the parks, I think we call it family recess other years. It's like, here's what we're going to be doing at your park next year. What would you like to see, whether it's a playground, access. And so we're able to work with the community on all our projects.
That's awesome.
Yep, thank you. Our third goal is attractive programs and quality experiences. So to seek additional partnerships for 2 additional nature programs. This past year, we did work with the Tree Advisory Board on a tree hike. Now I've got it. A tree hike at Fox Run Park. So we would like to do some more things with Tree Advisory Board, local university, the Master Gardeners, just any of our other partners. Offer 2 programs specifically geared towards younger adults. There's a little age gap somewhere. We do a lot of stuff for the young kids, some teens, and adults, so we want to try to capture the population in between. Offer 1 partnership program with Beavercreek Community Theater. Still under attractive programs and quality experiences. Make specific improvements to 2 events and communicate those to attract participation by individuals with disabilities. So again, as we go back to our ADA transition plan, what are we missing, and how do we make our events better by the event itself, but how are we able to attract those that have walking disabilities? Or one of the things that Aaron started with Try a Truck is the first hour is sensory friendly, so no horns, and so how else can we better serve everybody in the community? Add 1 new recurring program that runs in the evening at the senior center, and then combine the garage sale and health fair to boost attendance. Both of those are great programs, but attendance is starting to dwindle, and so can we combine those and just there are 2 also different clientele, so it's like the people coming for the garage sales, like, hey, do you know the senior center's here? The health fair is going on at the same time, and just try really kind of work on cross-marketing. Our last goal, and again, this is another one that comes under the strategic priorities, right-sized workforce and diversified and sustainable revenue, is effective management and efficient operations. 1 is create career development plan for all recreation senior center staff. So years ago, for our park maintenance and then our street maintenance, all of our maintenance employees, we developed a training matrix. So if you are an operator 1, here's different training programs that we would like you to attend. And then you get all your trainings in, and you're here for 5 years, and you have the opportunity to go to operator 2. Operator 2, here's all the different trainings, another 5 years. And so people have the opportunity to move through their levels instead of waiting for somebody to retire or quit. We do not have anything like that for recreation or senior center staff, so that's something that we want to work on. It may not be a change of levels, but at least, hey, we understand that there's trainings that we would like you to attend, and how better can you do your job, and what other trainings can we do to get you better. Update the employee training matrix and policy. That just falls back to the maintenance one that I was just talking about. It's time to go through it, see if it's still relevant. So you put these things together. 5 years ago, these trainings were awesome, but it's it absolutely makes no sense these days. So we're always trying to tweak it and make sure it's better. And this is, I think, always going to pop up no matter what, but recruit 10 new volunteers in transportation. We are always looking for volunteers. We get new volunteers, and some move away from transportation and volunteering. So it's always a constant. Also create and implement a strategy for reducing the number of trip denials in the transportation service. This has been a really big challenge this past year. We have the vehicles, we have the volunteers for the most part, but there's just, unfortunately, we've had to deny patrons a ride. Or we have to say, hey, listen, I understand that you have a haircut appointment, but so-and-so needs to get to the doctor. So these are some challenges that we've not seen before up until this year. And so we really have to take a look at next year and say, all right, how do we make this work? So, and part of it is just getting more volunteers, having a strategy of like, okay, how are we scheduling everything? And then review and update the cost recovery plan. So if you recall, a few years ago, Park Board, Senior Advisory Board, we went through an exercise with everybody. The cost recovery plan was brand new. It's like, okay, so as we charging for programs, are we actually making money off of it? Or it's just like, we don't want to lose money on everything. So next summer is the time to review it and see how we're doing. Staff does at the end of the year, as we go through the budgets, like we look at all of our program evaluations and make sure that, yep, we're not taking hit on everything. We have hit all of our goals for this past year for events, classes, so we know that everything is priced right, but we want to make sure that we're still, that those policies and procedures still make sense. So that is it, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. Fantastic.
Thank you. All right, our next item is the division reports. And whenever you're ready, Aaron, we'll accept it.
Good evening. All right, we're starting off with a nice photo. We were all excited that the weather was so nice on Saturday for our Veterans Day program. Nice blue sky, you can see peeking through the clouds there. That's not always typical of Veterans Day, so we were excited about that. On Saturday, we had a nice program, so I want to thank all the groups that were involved in making that possible. We will start with some updates about what's going on at the Senior Center upcoming, and I did try to include some things that are happening in November and December, since the Park Board normally doesn't meet in December. So on Monday, November 20th, that's this upcoming Monday, we will have our Thanksgiving luncheon. It is at noon, and we have a whole host of sponsors. We call the Thanksgiving luncheon one of our big three. We have Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas that are the big three events with the highest demand in terms of number of people who want to come, usually the biggest waiting list for those. And so we do enlist the help of a variety of sponsors for those, and they are all listed here, and we definitely could not do all of the things that we do without those sponsors. I wanted to also highlight a few activities that you might not normally hear about going on at the Senior Center. We have our happy hour coming up on November 28th from 3 to 4. You can come and enjoy some wine and sparkling drinks. And it's not at noon, so I apologize about that. It is at 3 to 4. There's two different times on the slide there. But it is sponsored by Kingston Healthcare, and it is free. So that is a member benefit if you join the Senior Center. You can come on over to happy hour. Something new that we're trying this year is our kickoff to Christmas. I'm really excited about this one. And it is from 5 to 7 in the evening. We're trying to do a few more things in the afternoon and the evening. And it is free for members, and they're able to invite their families to come, even if their family members are not members of the Senior Center. There'll be a singing quartet, there'll be cookies, cocoa, and Santa himself. And then, of course, we have our Christmas luncheon coming up. This is on Monday, December 20th, not November 20th. Doing real well today. It is at noon, and we have a whole host of sponsors for that as well, so I want to thank all those as well. There's a lot going on these days. Moving over into our recreation side of things, winter walks at Warringer Park is our fancy way of saying we're going to decorate the cabins and the park again. And you can come on out to the park from December 1st through January 1st and see the park decorated with lights as well as decorations on the historical homes. Each cabin is decorated by a local group, so we want to thank Beavercreek Historical Society, the Green Optimist Club, Beavercreek Lions Club, and Kiwanis Club of Beavercreek, each for taking on the task of decorating those cabins. So I'm always excited to see the creativity that those groups come up with. Of course, we will have voting available on signs with QR codes at the park, so you can come on out and vote for your favorite, and we'll see which group is the popular vote winner. And then the in-person event, Winter Welcome at Wortinger Park, has moved to a Friday night. It is December 15th from 5 to 8 p.m. It'll be dark outside, so everyone can enjoy the lights. In the past, we've done this on a Saturday afternoon. We will have Santa, reindeer, carolers, cookies, cocoa, and more. We'll have food trucks on site since it's around that dinner time as well. And I want to thank our partners, the Beavercreek Library, and then also IH Credit Union, who's sponsoring this year and helping us provide all of that fun for the community. And of course, our snowman photo contest is coming back. We say it starts December 1st. It really starts whenever we get enough snow to make some sort of snow creature. And it'll run through February. So we are excited to do that. Again, this is real easy. When you make a snowman or snow person or snow angel, whatever you want to make, send in your photo to parks@beavercreekohio.gov, and we'll post your photos on Facebook the beginning of March. And by popular vote, we'll be able to select a winner to win the Family Fun prize pack that we put together. Moving on over into what's going on in the parks. Over at Gershbacher Park, you heard last month about the walking path that we are paving there. It is now complete, and you can get in 1 mile with 6 1/4 laps. That's not too bad. Over at the Senior Center, we have wonderful installation of landscape rock and colored concrete in the parking lot islands. Our parking lot islands had been landscaped before. It was hard to keep up on them. They seem to be kind of the last things on the list. Sometimes we get overgrown weeds and all that good stuff. So we've replaced it with something even more beautiful and easy to maintain. And then some other miscellaneous projects going on right now. We were able to install 20 new trees between Rotary, Seville, and Walnut Grove parks. If you've been out to the parks lately, you might notice the restrooms and water fountains have been winterized. So plan ahead. There are portalets at some of the more popular parks, but you're not as accessible as during the summer. And then there is a concrete pad that's been installed or poured at Dominic Lafino Park along the walking path, and the bench will be installed by the end of this week that someone had put out there in commemoration of someone. So we're excited about that as well. And of course, our staff is helping with the installation of the holiday lights at Wortinger Park. They are mowing the fields at Springhouse Park. That's a big project. And we want to remind everyone, be sure to spend some time outdoors. Even though it's getting a little chillier, it's been quite nice lately. It's a great time of year for spotting wildlife. I know I have noticed a lot more wildlife on my daily commute, especially since the time change. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Okay, then next area, old business. Any upcoming volunteer opportunities to share?
Absolutely. Whoa. Kim already mentioned transportation at the Senior Center, of course. In my realm, Winter Welcome is an event that we can always use volunteers at, and I'm happy to share that out. with Park Board once we get all of those volunteer shifts and duties kind of all set up. But we'll have opportunities at the in-person event as well as for setup ahead of time and tear down afterwards.
Great, thank you. And then I think we've got several items that are pretty sparse here. No new business or unscheduled visitors. Action items, really the only thing we discussed earlier was our volunteer of the quarter, which Matt has volunteered to help us put together something for the In Touch. We'll have that person's name be a secret until that comes out, which leaves us with board time. And maybe we'll go over here with Sharon. Do you have anything you share?
Other than just wishing everybody have a good Thanksgiving with your families or not with your families, either way. But be thankful.
Great, thank you. Matt?
I just wanted to say that, it is a good time to get out into the parks. A lot of the insects that you would see over the summer have gone in hiding for the time being, and so it's another time to go out and see the wildlife, the colors of the fall, things like that. Obviously, the winter program that we have, I would highly encourage people to take a look at, get involved with. It just gives another idea of what services we offer through the Parks Board and why it's such a value to our community.
Yeah, I don't really have much either. I share the thoughts of Matt and Sharon. I would say holidays are coming up and we're all excited and celebrate, but it's also a tough time for a lot of folks in a lot of ways. So be good neighbors during this season. With that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor of adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.